Or I want to thank you for you and your family agreeing to be part of these training clips. It's really been a benefit, and there are going to be hundreds of people all over Arizona and in other states that will be trained using these little clips, and it's been a wonderful process. But I did want to take a little bit of time with you and just talk about how this really went. In video, we can create a perfect world. We can have the perfect facilitator, but the reality is you were one of the first families in your area that was in the child and family team process.
Yes.
And it wasn't all perfect, but
No.
right now, almost 2 years later, the fact of the matter is all of the major goals were met.
Yes.
Brandon's off probation.
Yes, he is.
He, in fact, is totally mainstreamed in school.
Yes.
And he's now been home for over a year.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And just we want to let some of the people who might watch these tapes just hear some of how things are going now and what the rest of the story, and just hear any advice that you would have for us. But I'm going to just start off by asking you how things are going right now.
Things are going pretty good. I mean, we have problems. We've had some crises, but with the team, that has helped. They're still involved in our life, but not as much. It's great. It's a great team we had, and they've done the things that we needed to do as a family. They helped us, but we still have problems. We still have some.
I had the opportunity to meet in this filming some of your actual team, and Kevin, for example, said he's still involved. He's still there willing to help, and I think I'm really struck by how having all those informal supports really has meant that now when you do depend somewhat on formal supports periodically, but it's very minimal compared to, say, what it was 2 years ago.
Yes, we still have we have a therapist, but once a week. We don't have a lot of, well, we don't have probation, of course, but we have a lot of family members, respite with my daughter, respite with other people and friends, a lot of respite, especially with Kevin.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if I had to ask you if there were a couple things that really made this work for you, that really stood out as having made your plan succeed, what would you say they were?
The team.
Okay.
The team is the main thing that made it work. Everybody working together. There was no Long Ranger out there. Cooperation with the team is what made it work.
Yeah. Anything else?
People that they're just being there. They were there. If you called, they were there. If we had emergencies, they were there. I would say Intermountain was during the crises. They were there.
Right.
And we had a few when Brandon first was transitioned home.
Sure. Okay. Because the child and family team process has been starting in your area, you were one of the first families. I know there were some real bumpy beginnings, and we had Greg be a wonderful facilitator on these tapes, but early on people were just learning this without a lot of training.
Yes.
Just give us a feel for maybe some of those bumps in the road. What was that like?
We were told we had a team, but mostly it was like staffing. We were told what we needed to do, and it didn't work. And we were told that, we were not told the possibilities. We didn't come up with anything that was concrete or nailed down. We didn't have any suggestions or informal suggestions. In fact, Kevin wasn't there. He came in later because our facilitator said we need to don't you have friends? I said, yes, we do.
So early on it was mostly professionals?
Just mostly professionals.
Okay, all right. Do you feel like there was anything during those early months where people were just learning that things you really needed but didn't get?
Yes, there was. We did not get advice. We did not have anybody to come into the house. We did not have Brandon they did not set up activities for Brandon. He was just there. He was just in the home.
Right. So it's just that ongoing support that you didn't have. And yet you clearly got that later on in the plan as things began to...
We had a plan.
Right. And one of the things we talk a lot about is collaboration between systems.
Right.
And how early on, how do you feel the collaboration between the school and probation and child welfare, et cetera? How do you feel that went?
It wasn't there.
Okay.
The school wasn't involved, period. There was no school. It was a separate part. We had an IEP, but the school was not involved. They were not at the table at all to know what was going on in Brandon's life.
And do you feel that's changed now?
Oh yes, it has changed. The school is involved. They come to the wraparounds. In fact, the wraparounds are being held at the school.
Wow, that's great.
In
That's
our
great.
community.
So, and do you have any sort of thoughts about what families really need at this point in your area, and how to make this really grow?
We need to be involved in the systems need to be out in the community, in the informal part, and they need to help the families find the friends that they need to support them. Informal supports. We do have a lot of advanced degrees. We do have a lot of therapy work, but
Sure.
not all families like we didn't. Yes, we do need the therapists there, but we need a lot of informal. Our churches need to be involved.
Right.
With these supports.
So I'm guessing a number of people would look at this video clips and say, boy, look at all the resources she had. She had the church, and she had Kevin, and Sydney was there for Brandon, and yet some families really don't have those resources. So you're really saying just that side of the community needs to be involved more and organized for those folks. Okay,
right. The systems have a lot of therapists, and they need to. There is someone. All families have someone there. It might not be totally what the system thinks that these people look like. There might be Uncle Joe that might be the bartender, but not necessarily. He's living a clean life, but that's a support that they need.
Sure.
And
sure.
that the system should look at this.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And finally, I just wanted to mention that I understand that you're actually moving into, now that your family's stable,
Yes.
you're actually moving into maybe a more formal way of helping other families. Could you tell us about that?
Yes, I'm starting to facilitate and help other families. In fact, I'm doing my own with this, with the family and child teams, to look at to see what other family needs, how to bring the community in.
So you're now your own facilitator of your own team?
I will be.
When you meet, and
Yes.
So you're going to get to be a facilitator for other families.
Yes.
Yes, so sit through some of the training and watch your own video clips. Well, Ora, I just want to again thank you so much for being part of this. So thank you.
Thank you.